Oh, oh
Recording
my,
in progress.
oh, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I got a new attitude. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. Let me pour some coffee for my new attitude. I got a new attitude because I was feeling some curmudgeonly, some cursludgety in my energy, and I got a new attitude because attitude is the magic word. I mean, attitude is the magic word. If you have any challenge in your life, see, I don't like to say problems because, we don't have problems, we have patterns. If you have any challenging patterns in your life, the quickest way to shift it is with a new attitude. With a new attitude that's filled with gratitude, it's filled with platitude and some sassitude. Okay, because you gotta shift it up if you want to lift it up. You gotta shift the energy to lift the energy. You gotta praise it to raise it, because if you stay in the attitude that's keeping you down, if you stay in that funk and that low, I mean, how am I gonna get anything done from I'm not going to get anything done from that low frequency. I have to lift the energy of who I am being to change what I am seeing. They say that if you want the things you see to change, you have to change the way you see things. But I say, if you want the things you see to change, you have to change the way you are being to change the way you are seeing. Because when you change the way you are being, you will change the things that you are seeing, because it's all what? Energy. 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 It's a flow of your thoughts are energy, your emotions are energy in motion, and it takes energy in motion to take an action. So if your actions and your results are not lining up with what you desire, first place is to work in your mind to change that thinking, to change that stinking thinking. And when you change that stinking thinking, and how do we change that stinking thinking? How do we change a thought? First, you have to be present. You have to get grounded. Take a breath. It's real simple. Then you must be present and aware. So you got to be aware. Aware is my mind. And where is my mind right now? NOW. Where am I noticing? What am I observing? What am I witnessing in my life? And then you got to choose to be open. Because when you're in an openness, you're in a willingness to see things differently. You're in an openness to experience life on life's terms. And then to start changing that thinking, we got to get curious. And when we're curious, we're asking questions. And many times people ask questions that are very directed to what they don't want. Why can't I find a man? Why can't I get a new job? Why is life so hard? Why does everybody not like me? I mean, those questions will get you answers, but those answers will not give you the energy or the attitude to shift. So we have to go from unconscious, accusatory questions to conscious, curious questions. When you get curious, you're like, ooh, what is this here to teach me? How is this here for my best good? Is best good a word? I don't care. For my highest and best good. How is this here to raise me up? How is this here to support me in living the life of my dreams? See, that's a more powerful question. And when you ask powerful questions, then you get powerful answers. If you want to live an empowered life, ask an empowered question. And then once you ask the question, you got to get honest. Honest, honest, honest. You must be honest. I have to be honest with the answers, because oftentimes we'll ask a question and then we create self-doubt, or we're like, oh no, we'll say we won't tell the truth. We'll scurry around the truth because we want the truth to look good, but the only person that we're harming is ourselves. And then once we're honest, then we have to accept the answers, because sometimes in your life there's going to be situations and circumstances that you have been unwilling to accept. And all acceptance is allowing things to be exactly what they are without wanting them to be different. It's just once you've told the truth and acknowledged the truth, then you can accept it for what it is. Okay, I had a drinking problem. When I got sober, I had to accept that I had a drug and alcohol problem. See, I was curious, am I an addict? But then I didn't answer the question honestly. I was like, "Oh, it's fine. I can do it. It's fine." But then once I said yes, hello, I admitted that I was powerless over drugs and alcohol, and my life had become unmanageable. I admitted it. I had then had to accept it. I had to accept that this is my situation as it is right now, but knowing that everything can change. And once I accepted it and I was being accepted, then I had to bring a little courage to the party. I had to be courageous to take the actions to shift what I had just accepted. And then I had to be accountable and be responsible and take ownership for the mess that I had created. And once I was accountable and responsible, then I could start being intentional. You see, most people like, what's your intention? What do you want? But you can't get to intention if you haven't gone through being present, aware, open, curious, honest, accepting, courageous, responsible, because you still got that to do. Then I can move with my intention of what is the life that I really desire. And then I can start practicing being authentic in it. Then I can be forgiving of the past mistakes I made. Then I can really then focus on being disciplined and committed to my vision, to my new identity, to the practices in my life. And when I do that, then I get to live in connection. Then I get to be at home within myself because I know the practices that I get to work on that will take me towards that place of not just being in connection with myself, but being in connection with myself then allows me to be in connection with others. I heard Maya Angelou say once, she's like, I don't accept I love you from people who don't love themselves. And I thought that was really fascinating because I'm like, oh, I'll accept and I love you from anybody. Hello. Hi, you love me? Great. But it really is, there's an element of truth to that, that it just becomes something we say. It doesn't become something with deep felt meaning if it comes from somebody who's saying, I love you for validation purpose versus I love you because I know what love is inside of me and I can share that with you and see that in you and give that to you and be in the flow of love and connection. All of this is a practice that requires a new attitude because many of us, I will raise my hand and take a ownership that I have been so hard on myself, so critical and cruel to myself. I mean, I'll say the nastiest things to myself that I would never say to anybody else. And then I expect people to say nice things about me when I don't say nice things about myself. I had to change that. I had to change that attitude of how I saw myself. And when I saw myself, I got to be myself. I got to be myself no matter who was watching, because it didn't matter what the world was saying. It mattered what I was saying. And what I say about myself is far more important than what anybody else has to comment. And I invite you to think about that in your own life. Because the story you tell about yourself is far more powerful than any story anybody could ever say about you. And that's the story you have to lift up so you can shift your outer experience, because we know that when you shift that inner vibration of who you are, it actually then becomes a bright, shining light that people see differently and people respond to who you're being. And that's who they get to start seeing. So that's your practice for today.